We are back. Thank you once again. Meet the Innovators, new episode with one of my good friends and colleagues, Redrice Cardell, the Mad Artist.
Yes, sir.
Let people know where you're from, who are watching.
I'm from Spartanburg, South Carolina, and I grew up in Linview Hills, and that's right in the heart. It's actually technically in Morrow, but you know, it's still Spartanburg. Y'all know what I mean.
Okay. Redrice, the Mad Artist, one of my good friends. Y'all, this is one of the most creative individuals that I know.
Appreciate it.
Where do you draw that level of creativity from, and what have been your inspiring moments to do? Say, listen, I want to paint, I want to sing, I want to dance. Like, where do you get that energy, and how?
I think it actually kind of strong. It came from me being in like high school, middle school, high school era. I think I was just really trying to find myself and always wanting to be involved in everything. And the reason I did that is because the neighborhood I grew up in, there was just a lot of misfits, tons of negative things going on around me. So in order for me to just leave my house, to get away from that area, I really pretty much just wanted to join speech and debate club. I wanted to be a part of chorus. I wanted to be a part of the theater group because that took me out of my element for a minute. So, you know, and I think a lot of times that's what I pull from. It keeps me active. It keeps me wanting to be hungry for new things, because as a creative, like, sometimes we get bored.
For sure.
And it's just nice to pick up another tool to put in the toolbox and say, hey, you know, this is where the inspiration draws from. And I do as much as I can to kind of hone down on each craft and spend a lot of time with it. Right. It began for me as something to just keep me out of trouble. Okay. But later on stream, it pulled into something where now I want to be able to provide a service to my community by using talents to show them that there's other outlets for them. Okay,
so what turns out to be starting out as boredom became kind of community service.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's funny how that can work, right? So recently, speaking of service, you were featured at TEDx Greenville, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Mm-hmm. When was this?
TEDx actually happened, I think early January, February sometime. Maybe it's March.
So
I think
it's YouTube that.
Yeah.
Tell us about the experience. What was it like being on stage, the preparation of it? You know, give us that feeling.
Man, actually, before I even got that call, I was going through a whole bunch of stuff at one time, and then I got this call about TEDx, and I was like, what? Like, me? Because one of my friends actually had recommended me, and I guess they had ended up picking my name and seeing what I actually do as a visual artist, and I was blown away that they chose me. So they sat down and showed me this space and told me what I was capable of doing. And the fact that, you know, I had ended up taking that gift. You know, I originally was just painting on the side of the road, and for me to like make my way to a stage where I have no idea how I got there, but it was just like I just kept working and kept painting and kept painting. So to be on a platform with, you know, with such a huge brand, and to be able to cover the masses by being streamed, you know, internationally, like, it blows my mind, because it was just, you know, just I'm a kid just wanting to stay out of trouble, and now here I am painting in front of America. So that was really dope. Yeah. It was a really dope feeling.
You've been on multiple different stages. You've been on an Imagine That stage.
Yeah.
You've been, was it Center Stage?
Center Stage. I've performed in Dreamgirls. I've done television.
Right. You've been on TV One.
Yeah. I mean, the hustle's real, man. Yeah. And
right.
that experience itself is just like, those are little things that I wanted to achieve growing up. Mm-hmm. And it's to be able to be in a place where you're like, man, I've done that already. I've checked it off my list, and it's a huge accomplishment. But at the same time, I wouldn't have any of those opportunities if it wasn't just for the people in the room believing in what I do. Mm-hmm. And just trying to stay hungry and active as much as I can. It's a tough job,
Yeah.
you know, because you're walking in a different path that most people wouldn't choose. They wouldn't choose that path because it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a huge sacrifice, and I think constantly have to be reminded of that because I chose this life.
Right.
And
it's tough, right?
it is tough. And for others that are on the other side, they think we have it so easy, and it's not.
Right.
Because they don't know the sleepless nights. They don't know when you had to go without.
Right.
And so it's just, for me, it's just, sometimes it felt like a gift and a curse.
Okay.
But it's such a bittersweet feeling because you're like, you may be going through turmoil or whatever, but at the same time, the end result always turns out to be something beautiful. I think, you know, my slogan is turn chaos into beauty. And there's a lot of chaotic things that happen to us in life, but we always have to turn it into something beautiful later on, or it turns into something beautiful.
I get a lot of emails about you, Idris.
What?
A lot of emails, and like, do you know this mad artist guy? He's a little unorthodox, you know, and I'm like, I think that's part of the idea. The mad artist is to be unorthodox, to take that path less traveled, and I think you have honed into that skill so well. Tell us the disadvantages and the things that you have faced, though, that the setbacks that you have faced executing this particular idea.
I remember when I was younger, my first girlfriend, right? I'm telling you, man, this is so crazy. Well, she said, you know, I really can't date you because you're too weird. And she said that I was acting a particular way or whatever, and I had to draw back, and I thought about it today because it's just kind of funny because I've fallen into that person that she said that I was, and I am weird.
Right.
And it's something I've accepted, and you know, at times as a creative, I think I pull from the theater because it has so much of an experience in my life. And so after doing a lot of studying and stuff, I know that the art form is your full body. You have to be completely all the way in it, or it's not true. Correct. And so I think embodying that fully has allowed me to be able to really launch forward in my career, is because I only choose this life. No matter what else happens, I always choose it. And sometimes when there's days where I regret even choosing this life, and I'm like, man, I'm done with it. I'm not going to be a creator at all. But then there's always those small reminders to remind me why I do what I do. And that's what I hold on to. So I think since I have, you know, kind of sketched out this lifestyle of being the mad artist, you know, there are some disadvantages because people know that I won't let that go. I've lost jobs because I've chosen to live the lifestyle as an artist. Lifestyle. Yeah. And that's tough because other people will possibly not know what to do.
You perform and you do your live painting in the helmets. Give us the significance of that piece.
Well, the helmet actually came about 3.5, 4 years ago. I was in a bad motorcycle accident. Okay. It was crazy because I was pretty comfortable on my bike, and it was just this one day I came around this corner when I was driving off Pelham Road up in Greenville, and I was cutting around this corner way too fast, and my bike slipped off underneath me, and I kept rolling. My bike rolled over me. Wow. And
you're still here.
I'm still here. And that's I think at the end of the day, that was probably one of the scariest moments of my life, because I didn't know how much blood I was losing at that time, but I knew it was a lot. It was actually that year after the accident. I think it was rolling around to Halloween, actually. And I needed a costume that night. Wow. And I didn't have a costume, and I saw my helmet sitting on the counter, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna grab the helmet and I'm gonna put a suit on. And I went out that night at Halloween, and I walked around with the costume on, and something, just a light bulb just went off in my head, and I was like, that's it.
So 20 years as an artist, where do you see yourself, and what are the goals that you want? What are your benchmarks?
Okay. Some of the things that I want to accomplish is I want to start my own foundation to give back to youth within my community.
Okay.
And show them that there are other opportunities, because the reason why I create is to help with our mental status.
Mental health. Yeah.
This mental health, that's what it all goes down to, because that was the initial reason why I started painting, is because I needed to have an outlet. For sure. Something I could control, something I could spend more time with.
So emotions into.
Yeah, and a lot of them don't have that.
For sure.
And especially if their parents are out all the time working, right. They may not have them to talk to, or right. They may not have a brother or sister as a companion to bounce ideas, right. Or talk about issues that they're dealing with. Right. And I know that can be very hard when you don't have anyone to speak to.
Right. Birdie on the Low said you have something dropping October 31st, EP on the way, right?
Right.
Okay, so right. I want you guys to make sure you look out for the Mad Artist and website.
Yeah, so my website is www.themaddartist.com, and that's with 3Ds.
That's with 3Ds. Make sure you follow him on Instagram as well, at the Mad Artist 3Ds, and he's one of the most dopest artists in the area. We want to thank you for your time here at Meet the Innovators. I'm your host, Shemuel Namaste. Much love to the Ballard Center here at SMC and Bruh Mentoring. Shout out to you. We'll see you next time.